Hello guys and welcome to our crash course. Our today's topic is time, speed, distance. A very simple topic. We will only work around definitions. We will not require any formulas. There's nothing to be mugged up here. From the basic definition, whatever we can do, we will do that. So introduction. I hope you already know what is time, what is speed, and what is distance. Time tells us about how long the activity is happening. Units are seconds, minutes, hours, etc. Distance, it is unit of distance, how far we are going, and units are meters, kilometers, centimeters, feet, miles, inches, etc. And speed, it tells us about how fast an object or a person is moving. Units, meter per second, kilometer per second, kilometer per hour, mile per hour, etc. And interrelation, which is the definition, which we already know. Distance is speed into time. Total distance covered by a person or object would be how fast that person is going into how for how long that person is traveling. So distance is speed into time, and naturally from this we can get speed is distance upon time. Time is distance upon speed. So you can observe that because of these relations, there are certain things, certain proportionalities that we can surmise. From here, we can say that if a person is going at the constant speed, if the speed is not changing, then distance and time are directly proportional. Meaning, for the one who travels for longer will reach farther. The one who travels for shorter time will travel shorter distance. And the ratio between them, distance and time, is constant, which is speed. This is direct proportionality. If the speed is constant, distance and time are directly proportional. Similarly, if the time is constant, if we are traveling for 1 hour only, the one who is going at the faster speed will reach the farther distance. The one who is going at the smaller speed will go lesser distance. So, if the time is constant, speed and distance are directly proportional. And speed is equal to distance upon time. So, if the distance is constant, then speed and time are inversely proportional. If the distance is constant, that is, we have to go from, let us say, Delhi to Jaipur. The one who can go at faster speed will reach earlier, and the one who is going at slower speed will take more time to reach. So, if the distance to be traveled is constant, then speed and time are inversely proportional, or product of them is constant. That is what inverse proportionality is. That is what I have written it here. Distance is directly proportional to speed if time is constant. Distance is directly proportional to time if speed is constant. Speed is inversely proportional to time if distance is constant. These are proportionalities that we can surmise from the definition. And how to use it? Look at this question. A person travels from one place to another at 40 km per hour and returns at 80 km per hour. The person is traveling from one place to another at 40 and returning at 80. So speed is constant, distance is constant. So he's traveling between the same two places, A to B and then B to A. So distance is constant. And speed is, while for the ongoing journey from A to B, it is 40, and for the return journey, it is 80. So what is the ratio of speeds? 40 is to 80 or 1 is to 2? And we know that when the distance is constant, speed and time are inversely proportional. So, ratio of time would be 2 is to 1. This would be twice as long. With 40 km speed, we will take twice as long as 80. So, time for journeys will be in the ratio 2 is to 1. If the distances are in the ratio, if the speeds are in the ratio 1 is to 2. Next, a car travels with the speed of 10 kilometers for 30 minutes and with speed of 60 kilometers for next 30 minutes. So here what is constant? The time of travel is constant, 30 minutes and 30 minutes. When the time is constant, then distance and speed are directly proportional. In such case, speeds are also in the ratio. Speeds are in the ratio 10 is to 60 or 1 is to 6. So distance covered will also be in the ratio 1 is to 6. Next section is conversion of units. 1 kilometer is 1000 meter. 1 mile is around 1.6 kilometers. 1 kilometer per hour is How to do that? We have 1 kilometer per hour. If you want to convert into meter per second, then what we do? We want to convert kilometer into meter, which is equal to 1000 meter, which is 1 kilometer, and 1 hour is 3600 seconds. So if you reduce it, it is 5 by 18. So 1 kilometer per hour is 5 by 18 meter per second, and 1 meter per second, just take 18 there, 5 in the denominator, it will be 18 by 5 kilometer per hour, which is around 3.6 kilometer per hour. So if you want to convert any kilometer per hour into meter per second, multiply by 5 by 18, and from meter per second to kilometer per hour, multiply by 18 by 5. 90 kilometer per hour into meter per second, 90 into 5 by 18 is equal to 25 meter per second. Fine. This way you can do, and here multiply by 18 by 5. Next section is about average speed. By definition, average speed is always total distance divided by total time. We have to find total distance and we have to find total time over the entire journey, and then we will get average speed. That is what it is by definition. So whatever the question may be, please do not go get into the traps of formulas and all. Just remember the definition that average speed is equal to total distance divided by total time. So first case, when the time is constant, if the time is constant, that is x and y are two speeds with which object travels for the same time. So if the object travels with the speed of x for time t, reaches here, then travels at the speed of y again for time t, then what is the average speed for the entire journey? What is the average speed? Total distance by total time. Total time is clearly 2 times t plus t. What is the total distance? Distance traveled till here is speed into time, and distance traveled here is speed into time, because speed here is y. T will get cancelled. Average speed is x plus y by 2. Fine. Again, we will just do total distance by total time. This is a sample question. A car travels with speed of 10 for 30 minutes, 60 for next 30 minutes. Find the average speed. Average speed would be 10 plus 60 by 2, which is 35. Next is when the distance is constant. So here it is slightly counterintuitive. Here we have distance is constant. So if x is the speed with which car travels from A to B, we are traveling at the speed of x, and y is the speed with which we return from B to A. So here distance is constant. Distance is A to B. This is the fixed distance. Let us call it d. So A and B are d distance apart. Onward journey, we are traveling with x speed. Return journey, we are traveling with y speed. What is the average speed? It would be very enticing for you to call average speed as x plus y by 2, but it is not x plus y by 2. Let us see why. By definition, average speed is total distance by total time. Here, what is total distance? D plus D. The total distance is 2D. A to B and B to A. Total distance traveled is 2D. Now, what is the total time? Total time is onwards wala time plus return wala time. How much time for onward journey? Distance by speed, that is the time, which is d by x. And what is the time taken for return journey? Distance upon y, distance upon speed, which is equal to distance can get cancelled, and you have 2 upon 1 by x plus 1 by y. If you further want to simplify, it will be 2xy by x plus y. So it is not x plus y by 2, it is in fact 2 by 1 by x plus 1 by y. But always do this. If you ever want to find out average speed, it is simply total distance by total time. Find the total distance, find the total time, divide, and you will get the average speed. A person travels from one place to another at 40 and returns at 80. Find the average speed for the journey. So we assume that distance between two places is d. So total distance traveled is 2d. Time taken for onward journey is d by 40. Time taken for return journey is d by 80. This is the average speed, total distance by total time. So d can get cancelled. You have 1 by 40 plus 1 by 80, which is LCM is 80. So 2 plus 1, 3, 3 by 80, 80 can get in the numerator, 160 by 3. So that would be the average speed. It is kilometer per hour. You can convert it into meter per second if the options are in meter per second. Now, this is very interesting question. Traveling at, well, I was talking about this question, but let us see first this. Traveling at 3/5 of the original speed, a train is 10 minutes late. Fine. Traveling at the 3/5 of original speed, train is 10 minutes late. Find the usual time taken by the train to complete the journey. Usual time we want to find out. So distance covered is same in both the cases. In the first case, it is usual speed, usual time. In the second case, 3/5 of speed and 10 minutes late. So distance is same. When the distance is constant, we have time and speed as inversely proportional, right? Time and speed as inversely proportional. What is the ratio of speeds? 3 by 5. Original to, this is 3/5 of original, but it's 3 by 5. No? Ratio of speeds is 3 by 5. 3:5. This is the ratio of speeds. So what would be the ratio of times? 5:3, naturally, because it is inversely proportional. So when the ratio is 5:3 of times, 5 by 3 is equal to time taken for this thing, 3/5 of original speed wala journey, which is 10 minutes later than usual. So let us assume usual to be time taken t, which we want to find out. So this is how what we have in minutes. You can find out value of t easily from 5t is equal to 3t plus 30. So 2t is equal to 30. T is equal to 15 minutes. So usual time is 15 minutes. If you travel by 3/5 of the original speed, ratio of speeds is 3 by 5. So ratio of times would be 5 by 3. 5 by 3 is time taken for lesser speed journey to original time. That is the ratio. Yes, this is a very interesting question. After traveling 50 kilometers, a train meets with an accident and travels at 3/4 of the usual speed and reaches 45 minutes late. Had the accident happened 10 kilometers further, it would have reached 35 minutes late. Find the usual speed. So I'll explain. This is the train's journey. Here it wants to reach. It is starting from here. Now what is happening? After traveling 50 kilometers, train is meeting an accident. So some 50 kilometers it has traveled, and here train faces an accident, and because of the accident, speed of the train reduces. So if the speed is v, after this point speed is 3 by 4 v. It is speed is reducing because of the accident, and because of this lesser speed, train is 45 minutes late. 45 minutes late. Now what they're saying, in the same journey, had the accident happened 10 kilometers down the line, meaning at 60 kilometers. Had the accident happened here, 50 की जगह 60 पे एक्सीडेंट होता, तो इसके बाद यहां तक v स्पीड जाते हैं लोग, एंड इसके बाद 3/4v से जाते. अगर एक्सीडेंट 10 किलोमीटर बाद होता, देन ट्रेन वुड हैव बीन 35 मिनट्स लेट. क्वेश्चन क्या है? क्वेश्चन इज फाइंड द यूजुअल स्पीड. दिस इज व्हाट वी वांट टू फाइंड आउट, द यूजुअल स्पीड. Now observe in these two cases, difference क्या है? What is the difference from here to here? From here to here, in both the cases, train is traveling at usual speed. No change. Difference starts coming here after the accident. Here accident happens at 50 kilometers. Here accident happens at 60 kilometers. And after this point, 60 kilometers, both of them are traveling at 3/4v. So that is not changing. So only difference in these two cases is this 10 kilometers. Only difference is this 10 kilometers. Because before this, same speed, same distance. After this, same distance, same speed. So nothing changes. Time required will be same, distance is same. So only these 10 kilometers are making this difference, 45 minutes and 35 minutes wala. In the first case, train is traveling this distance at 3/4 V, and in the second case, it is traveling this distance at speed V, and the difference is 10 minutes. Difference is 10 minutes. This is the only thing that is different in two cases. So in the first case, this is 10 kilometers that we already know, 60 minus 50. Time taken is distance divided by speed. And in the second case, time taken is distance divided by speed. And what we know, difference between them is 10 minutes. So 10 gets cut. You have 4 by 3V minus 1 by V is equal to 1. You can multiply here by 3. 4 minus 3, 1. So we have 1 by 3V is equal to 1 by 3 is equal to 1. सही है ना? 10. हाँ. So V is equal to 3 kilometer per minute. This kilometer per minute has a speed. We can convert it into kilometer per hour. So look at it. The difference is only due to 10 kilometers. First case, 10 kilometers traveled at 3/4 of usual speed. Second, 10 kilometers traveled at usual speed. So ratio of speeds is 3/4. And if the distance is constant, ratio of times is 4/3, inversely proportionality. So let actual times be 4x and 3x, and the difference is 10 minutes. So 4x minus 3x is equal to x is equal to 10. So 10 kilometer is 3x, which is 30 minutes. And 10 kilometers traveled in 30 minutes, total 20 kilometers in 1 hour. So that conversion happens to be 20 kilometers per hour speed. Please go through it once more. It was an interesting question. Fine. Next is meeting time question. When two persons or objects are traveling towards each other. In this type of questions, two persons or objects are traveling towards or away. Matlab two persons they start together and they travel away from each other, or they may travel towards each other. And starting from point A and B. In this question, what we have, here we have point A, here we have point B. One person is starting from here, another person is starting from here. So they will meet after some time. When will they meet? This person, let us say they meet here. This person comes here, this person comes here. So what is the total distance covered by these two people? This plus this, total distance D, whatever D that we have. So they will meet when they total together cover distance of D. After that, when will they meet? This person will go here, this person will reach there, and they again start the return journeys, and they will meet somewhere here. So what is the total distance traveled by them now? D by this person, and then third round ka D more. So they will meet when they cover together distance 3D. Next they will meet when they together cover 5D, and so on. And there are two conditions here. When the two people start here and they meet, they are meeting, meaning they are starting together and they are meeting at some constant time. So the time they travel for is also constant. They are traveling for the same time. At the time of meeting, they have traveled both for the same time. अगर आप let us say 4 बजे निकले और 4:30 बजे मिले, तो both have traveled for 30 minutes. If you start at 4 o'clock and meet at 4:30, both of you have traveled for 30 minutes, and both of you together have covered distance which is original distance between them. So with these two conditions we can solve these questions. Let us see the question. A train X leaves station A at 3 p.m. and reaches station B at 4:30 p.m. Another station Y leaves B at 3 p.m. and reaches A at 4 p.m. These two trains cross each other at what time? So here we have A, here we have B. Train is starting, one train starting from here, another train is starting from here. Both the trains are starting at 3 p.m. and 3 p.m. 3, 3. Let the distance between them is D. We have not assumed anything. We can assume to be D. And this train is has traveled for 1.5 hours, 1 hour 30 minutes. 3 से लेके 4:30 तक. And another train, it has traveled for 4 hours. And it covers distance D. So we know the speeds, we know the distance, we know the time it takes. Speed is distance upon time. And speed of this train is distance upon time. Right? So now we know the speeds. Let us assume that they meet after time T. They meet after T hours after starting train cross each other. So at this T hours, distance traveled by this train is speed into time. So d by 1.5 into T, and distance traveled by y is d by 1 into T. And total distance together they travel when they meet is d. Because there are two conditions. One, they have traveled for the same time. Second, they have together traveled total distance d. If you use these two conditions, you can find the answers. So d by 1.5 into T plus d by 1 into T is equal to total distance traveled d. We have assumed that they had traveled for time T, and original distance we have assumed as d. It will get cancelled here, and if you solve it, you will get 0.6 hours or 36 minutes. So train crosses each other at 3:36 p.m. because they have started at 3 p.m. both. Next type of problem is a train 300-meter long is running at the speed of 25 meters per second, and it will cross a bridge in how much time? Basically, we need to understand when will the train cross the bridge. So let us assume that this is a bridge, this is a train. So train approaches, it comes on the bridge. Now it has started to cross. So start. Train is on the bridge and it starts leaving the bridge. When the last part of the train leaves it, then only we can say that train has crossed the bridge. So how long the train has to travel? Train has to travel from here. It has to cover entire bridge. Yet even after covering the entire bridge, it has to cover this length of its own. It has certain length. Na train is certain long, so some distance long, some bogies long, some kilometers long. So that distance it has to travel. So it has to cover length of bridge plus its own length to entirely cross the bridge. That is the crux of it. So train will cross the bridge when the last point of train is past the last point of bridge. So AB train is coming up, B will get on the bridge, B will come, but only when A leaves the point Y, then only we can say that train has left the bridge. So total distance to be covered is length of bridge plus length of train, which is 500 meters, and speed is 25. So time taken is distance upon speed, which is 500 by 25, 20 seconds. So it will take train 20 seconds. Major thing I wanted to convey here is what do we mean by crossing the bridge? Crossing the bridge is covering the bridge, length of bridge plus the length of train. As when the last point of train that leaves the bridge, last point of bridge, then only we can say that the train has covered or passed the bridge. Next, two persons starting from the same point and walking in the same or opposite directions. Here A and B, if A and B travel in the same direction with the speeds S1 and S2, then distance between them in 1 hour will be S1 minus S2. For example, if the two persons are starting together and they are traveling in the same direction, the speed of A is S1, speed of B is S2. So what happens after 1 hour? This person A will go ahead by S1 kilometers in 1 hour, and person B will go ahead by S2 kilometers. So what is the distance between them after 1 hour? S1 minus S2, that is the distance between them. So distance between them after 1 hour is S1 minus S2 kilometers. So A and B will be 1 kilometer apart. So in 1 hour, S1 minus S2 distance. So they will be 1 kilometer apart when 1 by S1 minus S2 hours, because we have in 1 hour, they are S1 minus S2 kilometers apart. So 1 kilometer apart in how much time? If you solve this equation, you have 1 into 1 is equal to S1 minus S2 into unknown. So unknown is equal to 1 into 1 divided by S1 minus S2. After this much time in hours, S1 minus S2, A and B will be 1 kilometer apart. So they will be x kilometers apart when x by S1 minus S2 hour. Basic thing is, if they travel in the same direction, the speed with which their distance between them increases is S1 minus S2. S1, but ये भी S2 से आगे जाएगा, तो distance between them is S1 minus S2. In the second hour also, it will again go ahead by S1. It will go ahead by S2, so it is 2 times S1 minus S2. That will be the distance between them. So the speed with which distance between them will increase is at the rate of S1 minus S2. Secondly, if they walk in the opposite direction, so if they start here, A goes this side and B goes this side. So after 1 hour, S1 kilometers this side, B will go S2 kilometers this side. So distance between them is S1 plus S2. That is the only thing that will change. For example, if Raju and Neha start running from hotel at a constant speed of 10 and 8 respectively, what would be distance between them in 2 hours if they run in opposite direction? If they run in opposite direction, Raju will go 10 and Neha will go 8 in opposite direction. So distance between them after 1 hour is 18. So after 2 hours it will be 36. If they go in the same direction, 10 minus 8, so 2 kilometers in 1 hour. So in 2 hours it will be 4 kilometers. Next type of question, which is favorite of UPSC these days, is circular track wala questions. So here in this type of questions, 2 persons start at the same point and run around in a circular track. They travel at different speeds, and question asks how many times they meet in a specific time, or to meet given number of times, how much time should be spent, or how much distance do they need to cover. So these 3 quantities, distance, speed and time, UPSC can play around with these 2. You will be given 2, and third thing will be unknown. So for example, this is the question. P and Q are running around a 400-meter circular track. So there is a circular track of a garden, and it is of length 400 meters. P runs at constant speed of 12 and Q runs at constant speed of 10. 12 and 10 speeds are also given. If they begin from a common point, how many times does P cross Q in 3 hours after starting at specific time or same time? Firstly, what you need to understand is, what do we mean by crossing? So let us say P and Q start. P is faster here, so P will start. He will immediately go ahead. Q will follow. So distance between P and Q will increase because P is faster. So he will go on, and after some time, P will again come from back and meet Q. That is when we say P is crossing Q, right? And at that instance, and at that specific instance, when they meet, when the P overtakes Q, P has traveled exactly 1 round extra compared to Q. Exactly 1 round extra हुआ है ना उसका, तभी तो वो पीछे से जाके आया है, 1 round extra हुआ है उसका. So basically, that is what we mean by crossing. Crossing we mean by P traveling exactly 1 round extra by Q will mean P has crossed Q. Now what we are seeing, 3 hours time is given. Time is constant for P and Q. In 1 hour, P runs at the speed of 12 km per hour. Q runs at the speed of 10 km per hour. So in 1 hour, P runs 2 kilometers extra, right? In 3 hours, which is the total time of running, P will run 6 kilometers extra compared to Q, right? एक घंटे में 2 किलोमीटर ज्यादा भागता है, तो 3 घंटे में 6 ज्यादा भागेगा. And what do we mean by 6 kilometers? 6 kilometers, if you compare it with the track, which is 400 meter, it is basically 15 rounds. Basically 15 rounds extra भागेगा, so 15 number of crossings. As simple as that. If the track is 400 meters, P overtakes Q when he gains 400 meters over Q. एक round extra हो गया, मतलब overtake कर लिया. So in 3 hours, P gains 6,000 meters over Q, which is 6 kilometers. क्योंकि 1 घंटे में 2 किलोमीटर, 3 घंटे में 6 किलोमीटर. 6 kilometers is 6,000 meters. So in 3 hours, P runs 6,000 kilometers extra compared to Q. So P overtakes or crosses Q 6,000 divided by 400, which is 15 number of times. I hope you understand this. क्योंकि क्रॉसिंग का मतलब होता है एक राउंड एक्स्ट्रा, तो हमें बेसिकली निकालना है पी ने कितने एक्स्ट्रा राउंड मारे क्यू से. ऐसे भी निकाल सकते हो कि 400 मीटर, so and speed is 12 kilometers per hour. So how many rounds P will complete? So if you calculate that, in 3 hours, P will run 36 kilometers, because with the speed of 12 kilometers per hour, in 3 hours 36 kilometer distance will be covered by P. 36 kilometers is how many rounds? Because one round is a 400, so 36 kilometers is 90 rounds. 36 kilometers is 90 round. 36 kilometers, which is 36,000 meters divided by 400 meters. So it will be 90 rounds. And if the Q, for Q, it is 10 kilometers per hour. So in 3 hours, Q will run 30 kilometers. 30 kilometers is how many rounds? 30 into 1,000, which is because we are converting into meters. So 30,000 divided by 400 meter, which is 75 rounds. So 90 rounds uske, 75 rounds Q ke. How many rounds Q extra, P ran extra? 15 rounds. Answer is same. Any which way you look at it, that is fine. Next question, P and Q are running around same, every data is same. Question is, what distance does P have to cover to cross Q 27 times? Now we want P to cross Q 27 times. So that is already given, that how many extra rounds P has to make. Question is, what distance P has to cover? What we have? We already have this, that 15 extra round in 3 hours. What we want? 27 extra round. Question is how many hours? First we can find out. Is simply 27 by 15 into 3, which is equal to 27 by 5 hours. These many hours. But question is different. Question is what distance P has to cover. This is hours, time. What is the distance? Distance is speed into time. So just multiplied by speed of P. So whatever distance, that much distance P will have to cover. Next, again every data is same. If they begin from a common point, after how much time does P cross Q 7 times? What we can do? What we have in 1 hour, P crosses Q. 1 hour P travels 2 kilometers extra. 2 kilometers is 5 round extra. So in 1 hour, 5 times crossing. Question is 7 time crossing in how much time? So it is 7 by 5 hours. Simple. Which is 84 minutes. That much time would be required. I know I'm going a bit faster here, but we have to cover these topics quickly. Now, boats and stream problem. Again, very common type of problem that are asked by UPSC. We have boatman who rows with certain power, and we have a stream. If the boatman rows with power and with his own power, he can travel in a still water at the speed of B kilometers per hour. He can row at the speed of B kilometers per hour, and the stream is traveling at the rate of S kilometers per hour. Then downstream, stream ke saath, downstream he can get the speed up to B plus S kilometer per hour. Stream will push him, and upstream he can get speed up to B minus S kilometers per hour. So downstream speed is equal to B plus S. Upstream speed is B minus S. Here B is boatman's speed in still water. जब stream कोई help नहीं कर रहा उसे या oppose भी नहीं कर रहा. That is when the boatman's speed is B, and S is speed of the stream. Stream either helps in the downstream, stream will help in the upstream, stream will oppose. So speed of the boat in still water. So using this, what we have? Downstream speed is equal to B plus S, and upstream speed is equal to B minus S. So if I want to find out B and S in terms of D and U, then how will I do? I'll just add these two. So I'll get D plus U is equal to S minus S will get cancelled. It will be 2B. This implies B is equal to D plus U by 2. and if I subtract from second equation from first, I'll get d minus u is equal to b minus b 0, s minus minus s, which is 2s, which implies s is equal to d minus u by 2. So using these two things, b is b key value, s key value, d key value, and u key value, you can solve all the questions. A boatman rows to a place and back in 14 hours. So we are given that boatman is rowing to a place from A to B, let us say, and coming back together, total time taken is 14 hours. Then he finds that he can row at 4 kilometers with the stream in the same time as 3 kilometers against the stream. So ratio is given. He finds that he can row 4 kilometers with the stream in the same time. So time is constant. When the time is constant, distance and speed are directly proportional. When the time is constant, distance and speed are directly proportional. So distance ka ratio is 4 and 3, which has to be same as ratio of speeds. It has to be same as ratio of speeds. Okay, so let us look at this question. A boatman rows to a place and back in 14 hours. So there are two places, A and B. Boatman goes from A to B and back from B to A. Total time taken is 14 hours. Then the question says he finds that he can row 4 kilometers with the stream in the same time as 3 kilometers against the stream. So this information is given about same time. If the time is constant, then distance and speed are directly proportional. And they are saying ratio of distance is 4 kilometers and 3 kilometers. So 4 is to 3. So it will mean that ratio of speeds upstream and downstream are also in the ratio 4 and 3. 4 is to 3. So ratio of speeds is 4 is to 3 upstream and downstream and upstream. Now what they are saying? Fine. Now the question is find the rate of stream, which is the speed of stream, if the distance to the place is 48 kilometers. So this is also given that distance is 48 kilometers, which is constant. Now from A to B and B to A, in this case distance is constant. When the distance is constant, speed and time are inversely proportional. And this is downstream and this is upstream. So speed and time are inversely proportional. And you know now the ratio of speeds 4 is to 3 downstreams and upstream. So ratio of time taken downstream and upstream, it will be ulta 3 is to 4 inversely proportional. And you also know total time taken is 14 hours. 14 hours in the ratio 3 is to 4 will mean you make 7 parts of 14. Each part will be of 2. So this is 6, 2 parts into 3, and this is 8. So 6 hour time taken for this journey, and for return journey it is 8 hours. Question is, what is the rate of speed of the stream? So you can have values of d and s. D and u here. Downstream speed is equal to distance by speed. Distance by time. So 48 by 6, which is 8 kilometers per hour. And upstream speed is 6 kilometers per hour. Distance 48 by 8. And what we have studied? S, what we had? D is equal to 8, S is equal to U. So D minus U by 2 is S. वो अभी हमने ऊपर देखा था. So it is 8 minus 6 by 2. So 1 kilometer per hour is the speed of the stream. Very complex question. इतना easy नहीं है. अगर ऐसा कैसा आ जाए तो आपसे हो जाएगा hopefully. These are some PYQs. Let me do 2 or 3 of them. I'll not do all. You can watch PYQ series on LevelUp IAS YouTube channel. This was asked in CSAT 2022 that X and Y run a 3-kilometer race along a circular course of length 300 meters. So they are running 300 meter का एक round है, and they are running a race of 3 kilometers. So 10 rounds. Right? Question then says that their speeds are in the ratio of 3 is to 2. And then it says if they start together in the same direction, how many times would the first one pass another? And start off is not counted as the pass. कितनी बार जो फास्टर बंदा होगा वो क्रॉस करेगा. You can observe that this is speed ka ratio is 3:2. When the time is constant, if they are running for same amount of time, at the time of crossing, जब वो cross कर रहे एक दूसरे को, let us say they have started running, and the faster one crosses the one who has lesser speed. At the time of crossing, they have traveled for the same time, and distance, when the time is constant, distance and speed are directly proportional. The one who has traveled more distance would be of faster pace. So if this faster one, 3:2 speed, that is same distance ka ratio is also 3:2. So when the first one finishes 3 rounds, distance is 3 rounds. If I count distance in rounds, if the first one finishes this 3 rounds, the second one will finish 2 rounds, exactly 2 rounds. So at the end of 3 rounds of first person, there will be one crossing. है ना? At the 3 rounds completion of first person, there will be one crossing. At the 6th round, there will be second crossing. At the 9th round, there will be third crossing. And there are total 10 rounds. So how many crossings are there? 3 crossings are there. Simple. Rest of the question, you guys can please visit the YouTube channel and see if you can do these questions. Otherwise, you can refer to that. Explanation is in much more detail than what I can do right now. And okay, see you tomorrow. I hope it was helpful.